Hi guys, this is Dan. Welcome back to my channel. This video is slightly more spontaneous and chatty. I didn't really plan much on it because this news just come out. I think by the time you're watching it, it's the day before. Illumicrate just announced that for their main fantasy subscription, they would no longer offer a hand-signed signature. Rather, they would include a digital one because of the health concerns from the authors. This change is also based on the feedback from the customers. Other than the change in the format of the signature, Illumicrate will keep on doing redesigned covers for the rest of 2025. They will also include any other possible bonus content and a letter from the author. This change will only apply to the main fantasy subscription. Others, let's say the romance or other quarterly subscription, the author can still choose whether they will offer a hand-signed one or they will just use a digital signature. How do I feel about this change on the digital signature and doing the redesigned covers? First of all, I honestly and completely understand the concern from the authors. If you have watched videos from authors like Brandon Sanderson, what he would do is literally sitting in a warehouse and keep signing the books where their assistant would keep having a rotation of books for him to keep signing like a machine. Or even for bookshops like Goldsboro in the UK, what they would do is they would invite the authors to come to their house, come to their shopfront, and they would do the signing for them. You can see how many books they have to sign because of the large piles of the book stacking there. If you have seen this kind of behind the scene, you would definitely know how many books the authors have to sign and the amount of time they have to spend on it. Usually, I would say from what I have seen, at least from Goldsboro, or sometimes the Broken Binding would invite authors like Ryan Cahill to sign the books. What I have seen is more or less a whole afternoon. From my knowledge, I don't think the effort put on signing each copies would translate to a source of income for the authors. Also, not every author will feel comfortable in signing because of health conditions or maybe without risking any possible injuries. So in a way, to protect the welfare of the authors, and also this sort of signing don't really translate into an income, I agree that and understand that there has to be a change. How do I feel about this change as a reader? I think it is such a massive one. I know. We are talking about signature, whether it should be digital one or a wet one. And it seems not a really big deal in today's world. But what I would say, and from what I have seen, I understand that it is slightly controversial. Some people don't mind a digital signature, but some rather not have it at all. To me, I hope that in the first place, there could be more communication from Illumicrate to their subscribers. I know that there is always some sort of feedback form that Illumicrate or even other book companies would send to their active subscribers to ask how they feel about their current service. But I just don't recall Illumicrate do ask separately and openly about how people would feel about this sort of change. Like I said, it is such a big change because I think currently in the market, not too many subscription services are still offering a hand-signed signature. Especially with Illumicrate, this service has been ongoing for some years now, and a hand signature is something that their active subscribers would expect from them. So I think it would be better for Illumicrate to ask how the active subscribers feel about this change, or maybe including another questionnaire on this matter to see what really can be done. The opinion or the debate around it is always going to be divided. There's not going to be a consensus after all, because some people do prefer a hand signature, some may prefer a digital one or don't mind it, but some may not want a digital signature at all. So how to balance the opinions from everyone is really critical, and I think communication is always the key here. And talking about digital signature, it is not really my thing. If you don't know what a digital signature is and to put it in the context of a MacBook, What you need to do is to sign on the pack for once. The MacBook will scan it, and after it, you can reuse the signature multiple times. You can use it on like any sort of documents that a digital signature is welcomed. So I guess digital signature itself is quite convenient for Mac user. But putting it into the context of book publishing, I do feel like there is a massive difference between a web signature and a digital one. What I would say here is, in a sense, you sort of lose the connection with the author. I know it is like really weird to say so, but emotionally, I do feel like it in some way. Imagine an author picking up a pen and sign on every title page, and something that is printed from a printer in a preset in a massive scale. Don't tell me there's no difference here. And some may even say that you can't really tell the difference between these two, but I honestly don't think so. There is like a really big difference between these two. Let me just pick up these two books here I have. Let's say I have this book, The Tale of Small Fortunes by Julie Leon, and it is from FairyLoot. They always include a letter from the author, and there's a digital signature in the bottom of it. So you can see here, it's like the digital signature, and it is quite small. And if I pick up the book here, The Rise of the Ranger by Philip C. Quantrill, it is not like a special edition, but it is just a signed copy. So just looking at the title page, see, you can really see the stroke from the pen. So because I have been using a MacBook, I know how digital signature work. You just need to like play around on the pad, and compared to using a pen to sign it, it's really different. This discussion, I guess, not just limited to Illumicrate. Some other book subscriptions, like I said, they would invite their authors to come to their shopfront or maybe send them the copies. So sometimes you may receive a copy with a slightly different personal touch from the author. Let's say they will leave a quote from the book, a personal message to you, or maybe even drawing doodles around their signature. So what you receive, if we are lucky enough and if the author is really kind and generous enough, the copy we will receive is so different from book to book. I also remember some authors may just simply pop in the shop and just keep signing and signing some copies to make it extra special if you pick that book up. What I want to say here is digital signature is something that is so easy to be done. What you need is like a pad and a finger. Sign on it and you can reuse it so many times. Or even the letter from the author in this FairyLoot book, it just typed in Times New Romance with a really small digital signature. I just feel like we are losing some sort of fun here because it is obviously something that is already set in the printing session. So you don't really have much customization over it. Or maybe you just imagine you meet your favorite authors, your favorite artists, your favorite singers, your favorite bands, your favorite sports player. You hand them a pen and want a signature, but they just give you something that is printed beforehand. Let's say maybe all those trading cards from football players. The personal value from it is really different. I guess it is that's part of the memories that would make it extra special. Or even a digital signature. To put it in another way, it is almost like you can search the signature of the authors on just Google. You can get plenty of it. So what's the point? So let's say I just search digital signature Brandon Sanderson, and I can already see something like this. I can just simply do it at home. You know what I mean? A hand signature, you can never do so. I'm not here to say that no matter what, I must have a hand-signed signature from the authors for my special edition. I'm not saying something like this. I completely understand from the point of view of the authors. Sometimes it is just so hard to do so. Let's say not too long ago, the author of the Malison series, Stephen Erickson, has to sign extra copies for the Broken Binding special edition because there were some problems with the printers. As a result, he has to announce that for the rest of the series, because of how many copies he has to sign, he can't really do so because of his health concerns, which I completely understand. We should put the welfare of the authors first before asking for something extras. Or maybe for authors that has already passed away, let's say the author of the Wheel of Time series, Robert Jordan. Not long ago, I saw a special edition of the first book of the series, which also includes the digital signature of him. Here, of course, you can't really ask Robert Jordan to hand sign it for you. It is impossible to do so, and I think a digital one makes sense. Now, here what I want to say about Illumicrate is, for other subscription services, they are still offering Afterlight, Evernight, and Starlight. The authors that is like part of it can still choose whether to sign it or not. I just wonder for the main subscription, the fantasy one, why it is all digital signature from now on rather than let the authors to decide on it. Some may think that readers want a wet signature because of the investment value, but to me, I don't think it is really the case. I don't think the format of the signature really affect much on the market value of those books. Again, if it is an author that rarely offers any sort of signature and for some reasons you can obtain an authentic one, of course that book gonna worth a lot. But for subscription books, I don't really think it is the case. I sold books from my unhaul, no matter it is special editions, sub-books, I don't really think the format of signature do affect how much I can sell it for. Let's say maybe some FairyLoot books which always include a digital signature compared to Goldsboro, the one that offering hand-signed signature. I sold them all below cost. So still, I believe the value we are talking about here is not really the investment value, but more to the connections between the authors and the readers. Also, don't forget the fact that not just for Illumicrate, most of the subscription offers a worldwide shipping, not just limiting to America, UK, Europe, but the rest of the world can also enjoy a new release with a hand-signed signature. But of course, you need to pay for the shipping cost first. I guess what this kind of subscription service can do, especially sometimes they do work with new authors, so readers across the world can get to know about them in a sense to help to develop the relationship between readers and authors. Talking about shifting to digital signature, let me tell you something here. Not everyone in this world will be able to attend authors' events to ask for their signature and share their thoughts and basically this kind of interaction. If you are lucky enough, or maybe you are living in bigger cities like London, Edinburgh, Liverpool, Manchester, or maybe New York, you can just simply hop on a train or maybe drive to your closest bookstore that hold this kind of events to see your favorite authors. But there are still some people living in the countryside, living in a remote area, which may take them sometimes to get to the city to visit this kind of events. Or even the authors is still too new, and this is also part of the reason why subscription services exist. They don't have the reputation or the capital to tour all over the world. If you scroll down the shipping rate page of this kind of shops, you will notice where would this book ship to, not just to UK, America, Canada, Australia, but also places like Asia and Africa. Yes, you may say that if you love the author, if you want to support them, you should go and visit them. But not everyone got the power to do so. Okay, just imagine later this year you receive a book from Illumicrate and you love them, but there's only a digital signature and you want it to be extra special by having a hand-signed one, or maybe simply just want to see the author, but you're just living in Asia. How on earth can you see the authors without paying so much for it? So I do think book subscription in a sense can help develop this kind of connections between authors and readers. It is a very important bridge. And moving on to the next point about the changes from Illumicrate, talking about the redesigned covers, which I totally welcome. But I guess, at least to me, I feel like the message we have got from them to sort of compromise the digital signature, they would try to offer different kind of bonus content, let's say a letter from the author or any other possible like experimental things they can include in a book. What I would say here or how I interpret this message is like I would expect something real good or something better from Illumicrate. Again, the cost of a wet signature is never factored in the production. But this shift, at least to me, I would feel like the book in the future gonna look slightly better. Maybe with a wowing redesigned covers that is so different from the standard one. Something that is really totally out of the blue that would be included in the book, if possible. What I would say here is, I'm not sure about you guys, but I think majority of the subscription in the market these days, you need to pay a month in advance for the book in next month. Although these shops would try to tell you what you can expect from these special editions, let's say who's gonna design the covers, who's gonna design the special edge, who's gonna work with these parts, or like what sort of bonus content may be included in the book, you will still never know how it looks like until you receive the end products. You can still check the past works by this artist to see what it's gonna look like, but you will never be certain how they're gonna approach the next project. So in a sense, it is like a gamble. You put good faith to this kind of companies. You feel like you're confident for them to make a stunning book, basically. But I don't think you can ever return a special edition, a subscription book because of how it looks like and you're not happy with it. This is always a minor problem, a very minor problem to me to most of the subscription because you are paying in advance for a product that is never exists yet. And you don't know how it looks like until the very last moment, the moment you receive it. And like I said, you can't return a book just because it doesn't look as good as you expect. And we all judge a book by its cover. So I do hope that in the future, if time is allowed, we can at least have a glimpse of your subscription books maybe before we pay it. The only subscription I can think of that offers a mock-up for their special edition of the subscription is the Broken Binding, both fantasy and sci-fi subscriptions. So at least you can imagine what the book's gonna look like and not to worry about it at all. And also, in a way, if you are not happy with the design, you can just simply skip it and you don't have to pay for it. I genuinely hope that this could turn into a normal practice for other subscription because it is really useful and I am not wasting money for books that I don't like how it looks. The last thing I would like to say on this matter has nothing to do with Illumicrate but more about the community. The last argument I would ever want to see in any sort of discussion or debate is if you are not happy with certain things, just simply F off and get it somewhere else or don't come back again. I never found this sort of argument sound. It is almost like you leave a review, leave a comment on like TripAdvisor or Google, then somebody jump to you and say, if you're not happy, don't come here again. What's the point of this? First of all, it is not your business and you're not even part of the team, so why you act like you are part of the business and ask people not to buy certain things? I don't think it is a good way to defend any sort of business, no matter they're making some sort of improvement or make a mistake. In a sense, if you are turning the potential customer away, it is down to you that hurting the reputation of this business. And I think that for those people who have time to leave a feedback on like any sort of forum, any sort of like review page, is those existing customers. If you are not part of it, why you waste time on such matters? I mean, putting back to the context of book community, for most readers or like existing subscribers to this kind of services, we do genuinely just love books and we care about it. Especially with subscription, I feel like it creates a really special community involving readers, authors, artists, and a team running behind it. Without people who enjoy readings and interested in new release, this kind of book subscriptions won't exist. And without this growing number of active subscribers, this kind of companies won't bring their game up and include or recruit more talents to attract more potential customers. So the change here is really special. If you simply say F off because you are not happy with something, you are not really helping with the situation because you're disencouraging a discussion. You simply shut it down. What we really need is listen to everyone, what they're gonna say about it, and have like a really constructive, rational, conscious discussion. So this is my very chatty, spontaneous comment about the changes from Illumicrate subscription. Like I said, I completely understand the concerns from the author's point of view and their welfare. And I guess what we need is just this kind of really open but constructive discussion on this matter. Let me know what you think about it in the description below. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel Dynasty so you won't miss anything from me. I'll see you all real soon. Goodbye.